In 2064, as the war on woke reached its 40th year, a boot smashed in an old cabin's front door, a flashbang blew, a squad member yelled, "Clear!" and Proud Boys entered the cabin and found nobody home. Their quarry gone, vanished, most likely aided by the underground rabble of degenerates long banished by Trump, Rittenhouse and Dale, respectively. QAnon's most recent accusations of vegan terrorist activity leading to arrests and home invasions left vegans no options other than to start eating meat or go into hiding, woke as they were in the president's view, and jail-bound too upon his deciding, hence the unoccupied status of Tom's cabin. He having gone someplace far away from the fallout of media hate bombs, but not before leaving a final say, in the form of a relic, cassette tape and deck, along with a note saying, "Play, listen, heed how fascism takes shape." And of this, since classified document, a memorised version I hereby present, although please, let it be understood, my Texas accent isn't very good. This here's the story of Tarquin Dale. He followed Trump on the campaign trail and hanging on Donald's every word, he squawked him fair like a minor bird. Being too young to buy his own gun, Tarquin had to play with Daddy's one. An SA carbine AIM-15 equipped with a 100-round magazine. He was shooting cans in his spare time long before he learned his first nursery rhyme. And by the tender age of 16, a fine young shot there ain't never been. And watching Trump most every night, sermonizing the Christian right Republican Americans born and bred, he took it all in his pliable head. And as he watched, his dry lips trembled, murmuring the mantra of those assembled. It was like he was kind of hypnotized, or maybe even radicalized. MAGA, 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 he said, as Black Lives Matter filled him with dread. Likewise, Antifa, gender transition, and those of a communist disposition. Anyways, Trump won in 2024. And true to his word, he settled the score on all those mentioned above and more. Many folks found themselves breaking the law just by being themselves, no other reason. Trump all but declaring open season on anyone judged the chink in the chain while he made America great again. And what weaker link could there ever be than heathens to right in biology, defying God and birth assigned sex, denying science, XY and XX, gender reassignment subjects along with their enablers were just plain wrong. And besides, gender was a made-up thing in the eyes of the Legion Christian right wing. Doctors got fined, research was closed down, gender promoters were chased out of town, gender-affirming cabs revolt, and the righteous right got ever more stoked. Not least of all, Tarquin Dale. Still underage at 17, he was a ball of rage. And on hearing of a trans demonstration, he grabbed at his gun without hesitation. And Daddy didn't mind. No sirree, on the contrary, he was as proud as could be, waving goodbye and wishing them luck as Ma drove off in the pickup truck with Tarquin riding shotgun by her side. Daddy would have loved to have come for the ride, but he had a Klan meeting that day and the truck only had 2 seats anyway. 4 hours and 200 miles later, the Patriot, underage Terminator, left Ma in the truck and joined with a crowd of Fred Perry wearing boys, strong and proud, facing off their foe. Trans people standing out front of a gender clinic demanding a restoration of rights they won, because overruling had left them with none. And Tarquin, having swallowed the lies and the conspiracies that gave rise to the mass paranoia, the knee-jerk swing, so the right and the mindset that made Trump king, raised at his carbine loaded with lead, took aim and shot 10 human beings dead as the Proud Boys cheered, and when the police came and led him away, they yelled his name. Tarquin, 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 they cried, drowning the choking on the other side as tear gas canisters Fire that will disperse the protesters he failed to kill. Or at least that's how I perceived it when I watched the playback. Tucker Carlson claimed was botched, inasmuch as it didn't tell the whole story. Provocation, he said, played a role, namely trans protesters burning the flag, along with an effigy of Trump in drag, and Tarquin opened fire after he got hit because them trans was throwing all kinds of shit. And at the same time, one of them said they was going to kill him and the fence gave way and all hell was about to commence. Long story short, it was plain self-defense, and the righteous, full of fire and fury, along with the judge and all of the jury, were 100% inclined to agree. The verdict was read and Dale walked free. I guess y'all know the rest. Trump stayed president long past the time he should have been spent, and when blood started being pumped through his veins, Vice President Rittenhouse took up the reins and, enabled by Trump's commandment, scrapping the 22nd Amendment, for 25 years, Rittenhouse made America great as the Christian crusade rounded up all the trans people and gays. Along with those still promoting their ways, they locked them up in asylums and jails, and that being done, they followed new trails leading to leftists, lecturers, teachers, abortionists, radicals, Marxist preachers, and anti-Americans. Except those who knew keep it real quiet was the best thing to do. Meantime, our old friend Tarquin Dale was walking his own presidential trail, which led, well, you know where I'm going to say, and President Dale is there right this day. Yep, Kyle Rittenhouse is finally gone. But the so-called war on woke carries on, and demagogues, needing someone to hound, expedient scapegoats must always be found. Hence, Dale's recent haranguing of those in his regime presently opposed. And that, dear friends, is where I come in. Having committed the cardinal sin of, with animal welfare in mind, avoiding meat products of any kind, the consequence of which choice I've made means somehow linked to a downturn in trade, an imminent crash, sky-high inflation, a rise in poverty and deprivation, a rapid decline in the nation's health, and curbs, including on freedom itself. Being vegan's all but a federal crime. I know it's only a matter of time before the proud militia comes round to cuff and take me prison bound. So I'm going to finish this here tape. Leave it on the table and make my escape in the hope one of you proud boys hears and heeds my account of Dale's childhood years, of how he was radicalized, like I said, by right-wing lies, fucking with his head, and of how everyday folk, such as I, witness injustice and turn a blind eye till they realize, albeit too late, they may be subject to the same fate. Because when a dictator's zealous and vexed, you never can tell who's going to be next. And there the tape ended, as I recall. And I guess you're now wondering where I heard it, and why did I relate it all in a bad accent, punctuated by this daft-looking Stetson? Well, in the first case, I was present during the raid. In fact, I shouted, "Clear!" having flashbanged the place. Yes, I was a brainwashed British expat. As for the accent and Stetson, I saw a photo of Tom in cowboy attire hanging on the wall opposite the door of the cabin we wrecked and set on fire. In the accent, I knew from having heard the tape he recorded and left behind, in the hope a proud boy might heed his word, which I neither heeded nor had in mind, till the camel's back broke, when the president spoke and labelled all non-Americans woke.
Thank you.